What's poppin', guys? It's Ashley. I'm here with my second game of the GBA Fan Draft League versus my man Jayteez. Now, this dude has a very, very scary team. I don't have written down which Pokemon he did not bring, but what he did bring was Greninja. He has Lowland Ninetales, Necrozma, Infernape, Xurkitree, and Mimikyu. So this team is scary as hell. I am confident in my team building. I felt like I brought the best team I could to combat this team, but that is by no means a guarantee because this team is very, very scary. Even when you have things to cover their options, like almost every single one of these Pokemon can set up in some capacity outside of Greninja. Greninja, if you're gonna boost it in any way, you're probably running specs or something like that. But I've seen Nasty Plot, Ninetales. I've seen every sort of setup you can imagine. Necrozma. Infernape doesn't really set up much. I kind of anticipate this being choice scarfed, as Infernapes typically are, or possibly choice banded or something of that nature. Choice scarfs, Infernapes like to be choice. Xurkitree loves to use Tail Glow and all those sorts of shenanigans, and it is one of his Z Pokemon, so it's not out of the question. And Mimikyu is an obvious Swords Dancer. You're hard pressed to find a Mimikyu set that does not run Swords Dance outside of Trick Room. So let's go ahead and take a look at our team. We have Tapu Fini with leftovers. This has Defog, Moonblast, Nature's Madness, and Haze, because I figured the Haze would be very important, seeing as I said, all the Pokemon that set up on his team. Obviously, it's a little worrisome that I don't have a foolproof switch in to Alolan Ninetales because it gets freeze dry, but here's hoping that we can get around it at least. This Tapu Fini is fully specially invested, seeing as as far as the physical options go. Mimikyu does kind of tear into it, but without any defensive investment, it handles Infernape fairly well. Then next up we have Nature Boy or Thunderous T. This thing is going to have Thunderbolt, Sludge Wave, Hidden Power Ice, and Volt Switch, and it is choice scarf. So I EV'd this to outspeed pretty much everything on his team at like Jolly or something, I can't remember. But I've only got about 38 EVs or 68 EVs in speed with max special attack and 188 health. So anyway, we'll look on next to my boy Icy Wrist. This is Mega Sableye. Got Will-O-Wisp, Recover, Knockoff, and Snatch. The only reason I brought Snatch was to flex on the Aura Veil, because I figured he would bring Aura Veil. Most Ninetales do. I didn't really have a purpose to bring Aura Veil. I really just want to try and flex and snatch it. I mean, well, people are going to be watching these videos. You know, you got to try and put on a show. So then we bring my boy Migos, Dugtrio. He's got a Focus Sash. Obviously, Arena Trap. Why would you run any other Dugtrio? I mean, I'm sure they're okay in some scenarios, but Arena Trap is definitely the way to go. Earthquake, Memento, Shadow Claw, and Rock Slide. This moveset was just made to handle pretty much anything that came at me. Shadow Claw for Mimikyu if I needed to try and take that out, but hopefully it won't come to that. I'm really aiming to use this on the Xurkitree or the Infernape. Next up we have Sin Noodles or Tangro. That is going to be very defensive, obviously. Full defense, full HP, Assault Vest, Regenerator, Knockoff, HP Ice, Giga Drain, and Sludge Bomb. So I think this is going to do a good job at kind of countering everything not named Infernape, even though Ninetales does kind of shred through it with Blizzard and things like that. It serves as a very good wall for the rest of his team. Necrozma really can't do that much to it. Greninja really can't do that much to it. Even with Ice Beam, Greninja doesn't do that much to it if it's not Ash Greninja or Specs. Then Mimikyu doesn't really do anything to it. Xurkitree can't really do much to it. So Tangrowth was just a great defensive wall option. And then finally we have late game Dragonite with the 2 Gs, holding Dragonium Z, Dragon Dance, Extreme Speed, Thunder Punch, Dragon Claw. I've learned from the mistakes in my past. I am not going to be trying to bank on a weakness policy, especially against smart players like Jayteez. So I went with the Dragonium Z. I figured it would be a great nuke for anything not named Ninetales, and that a +1 Thunder Punch could do a lot against Ninetales anyway. So let's go ahead and start the match and get a good look at what happens. So he is going to lead Infernape, and I'm going to lead Mega Sableye because I really like getting that Mega off, but However, I don't really want to get U-turned here because I know it will go do a good bit of damage to me right off the bat, and I need the Sableye as a wall. I'm just going to go right into Tapu Fini because I know there's not really anything this can do to Tapu Fini. And it just felt like a very safe switch in overall. So he right here is going to go into his Xurkitree, and I don't really like staying in here. The leftovers put me in 99%, and I'm pretty much free to make a switch. That was a no drawback play going into Tapu Fini there, which is nice. I'm going to switch into Thundurus T because it takes pretty much anything that this wants to throw out. Even that Energy Ball is going to do the most amount of damage considering I have Volt Absorb. And since he doesn't have a ground type, I'm just free to just go ahead and fire off a Volt Switch right here. It doesn't do a ton of damage, but it does pretty good chip. And I can go right here into my Dugtrio. I am Focus Sashed. I know that I'm going to be faster because there's no way he's Choice Scarfed from what I can tell. Anyway, I'm just going to go right for the Earthquake. He does have the Shucka Berry. I should be able to knock him out, but he does have the Shucka Berry, which lets him knock me out. Unfortunately, Dugtrio doesn't get the kill, but that's fine. His Xurkitree is at low percentages. My Thundurus does outspeed with the Choice Scarf, so I know there's no chance of him taking me out here, and I can just freely get the Volt Switch off. Either I kill that and then I move out into something else, or I could Volt Switch off of something else onto his team and go into a counter for that. So going right back in here into Sableye, trying to get the Mega Sableye popped off, and hopefully now that Misty Terrain is over, trying to get a Will-O-Wisp off. But instead he goes into the Ninetales, meaning that I'm about to hit this snatch button and snatch me up an Aura Veil, which was super exciting because I really wanted that to work. I remember looking through it prep and just thinking about that, knowing for a fact that he was going to bring Aura Veil on Ninetales because it just benefits his team so well. Like behind an Aura Veil, what takes down Necrozma? Honestly, probably not anything, I imagine. So I'm just going to go for the Will-O-Wisp right here, start getting some damage off on this Ninetales, because the longer it sits at 100%, the less comfortable I'm going to get. I want any chip on this thing necessary so that I can take it out with Dragonite, considering I don't have a super effective move. And he's going to go for the Blizzard and freeze me here, which is super unfortunate, because as you can see, that did absolute 0 damage. So right here, I can't remember what move I went for staying in, but I do remember staying in. And he goes right into his Mimikyu. So at this point, I've decided that I desperately want to get a burn off on this Mimikyu. I really, really would like to get a burn off on this Mimikyu. Oh, I was going for knockoff to try and knock off whatever item that Ninetales might have. So he's going to get the Swords Dance up, and I am just praying that I unfreeze in enough time to get this stupid Will-O-Wisp off. But as you can see, he goes for the Play Rough, which is super effective. And I get put down in the dirt off the freeze, which is super unfortunate, but we can't tilt. Even though I do misclick here and go into Dragonite instead of Tapu Fini. I clicked on Dragonite and then I immediately went to click cancel, but he had already clicked his move. So he goes for Play Rough and that knocks me down. Unfortunately, if I had switched into Tapu Fini originally, there's nothing he could have done to knock me out, and I could have gone for the Haze and cleared out his attack boost, but because of my misclick, he is going to take out Tapu Fini and remain at +2. So here it's not looking too good. It is 5 on 3, and I'm looking this Mimikyu right in the face. But this Tangrowth, I made to take on this Mimikyu. So hopefully it can do its job, and we'll see as it goes for the +2 Never Ending Nightmare and only does about 63%. So we're going to get the Sludge Bomb off, pop this Disguise, and any damage we get on this Mimikyu is going to help when we go into our Dragonite, because there's way too many Pokemon left for me to feel comfortable locking Thundurus into a move. He's got his entire team -1, so I just don't feel comfortable locking myself into any move that I feel like will take damage on everything. I know I have to go into Dragonite after this, and fortunately get off about 65% damage, which is going to put Mimikyu in range of my Thunder Punch. So here he goes for the Shadow Claw, which, because of multi-scale, does absolute 0 damage. I think he was scared of the weakness policy and didn't go for the Play Rough for that reason, because the Play Rough definitely would have done a ton more damage, even though it was halved, and wore me down for the rest of his team, because now, because of that Shadow Claw play, I'm sitting here at 72% +1/+1. So he is Scarf Infernape, as I guess, and goes for the Stone Edge, and it doesn't kill. If he had done the Play Rough, I'm fairly certain that would have killed. But instead, I get the Dragon Claw off, giving me the damage I need to take out this Infernape with the E-Speed. And we're sitting at 24%, and he is now down to 3 Pokemon from 5. So a 3-2 battle is looking pretty good, but he goes into this Necrozma. So I cannot let this Necrozma set up at all. I have to go for the Z move here. I have to absolutely try to blow this thing away. And we actually get 79.9% of its health, and it misses the Rock Blast. I feel really bad. That sucks, Jayteez. However, I think at the range that it's at right now, Thundurus could have swept through with the Choice Scarf. But that Rock Blast definitely made a huge difference in how the game went. That's pretty demoralizing. I think that's a 95% accuracy move. However, here, I can't remember. I went for E-Speed for some specific reason. I cannot remember why. But, as you can see, instead of setting up the Aura Veil, he goes for the Freeze Stride. Now, there's a chance if he sets the Aura Veil up, he lives with Greninja and has the ability to take me out. But instead, he doesn't get the Aura Veil up. I'm going to go into Choice Scarf Thundurus. I know for a fact I'm faster. I'm going to get the crit that doesn't matter on the Alolan Ninetales. And now it's just looking like me versus Greninja, and if this Greninja is Scarf or not. So he's going to go right out into it, and it's a showdown. I'm going to go ahead and hit Thunderbolt, win the game there. Sorry, I didn't want to get ahead of myself there, but there wasn't really much to talk about that turn. He was either Choice Scarfed or he wasn't, and he wasn't. So it was nice to take that one to the bank. We're 2-0 in the FDL. Great game to Jayteez. I really enjoyed it. It was definitely a bit of a ride. But I'm really liking how my team is shaping up right now. My walls are doing a great job of infecting the damage and the chip and the status they need for my sweepers to sweep. And my sweepers are sweeping flawlessly. Thundurus T has not died through 2 games and has, I think, 2 kills. But Dragonite is 7-1, which is absolutely phenomenal. I couldn't be happier with my 3rd round Dragonite pick, seeing as it's leading, I think, our conference at least so far in kills and all that. But anyway, I hope y'all enjoyed watching the match. Again, good game to Jayteez, and I will be playing. I have another match tonight. This is Monday, the 31st, I believe. Yes, Monday the 31st, and I have a match tonight and a match tomorrow. So you will know my FDL fate in the next couple of days, depending on when I record. I'm going out of town Tuesday, actually, or Wednesday morning. And I'll be back on Sunday. I'm trying to get some videos together to upload while I'm away. But if I don't, you'll know why. So anyway, y'all have a good day. Like, subscribe, comment, all the bullshit if you enjoyed it. See ya.